Welcome to Crime Time Communicator, where we dive deep into the world of notorious criminals and their daring escapades. We're about to embark on a journey back to the Great Depression era in America, a time that witnessed the rise and fall of the infamous Dillinger Gang. Their audacious exploits left an indelible mark on history that still echoes today. So, buckle up as we delve into their thrilling tale. The Dillinger Gang, led by the infamous John Dillinger, was a group of audacious bank robbers who wreaked havoc during the Great Depression. Born into a world of poverty and hardship, these men chose a life of crime and became the most wanted in the United States. The rise of the Dillinger Gang wasn't just an overnight affair. It was a carefully orchestrated symphony of crime, starting with small-time robberies and escalating to audacious bank heists. John Dillinger, the ringleader, was an Indiana farm boy turned criminal mastermind. After serving time for a botched mugging, he emerged from prison with a burning desire for revenge against the society he felt had wronged him. His charisma and audacity attracted like-minded individuals, and together they formed the formidable Dillinger Gang. They were a new breed of criminals, using military precision and innovative techniques that left law enforcement agencies struggling to keep up. Their rise to infamy began in earnest in 1933. Released from prison in May, Dillinger wasted no time in gathering his crew and planning their first heist. By September, they had successfully robbed several banks across Indiana and Ohio, making off with significant sums of money. But it wasn't just the money that fueled their crime spree. It was the thrill, the rush of adrenaline, and the satisfaction of outsmarting the law. They reveled in their notoriety, becoming folk heroes to some and monsters to others. Their audacious exploits didn't go unnoticed, however. The more successful they became, the more attention they attracted from law enforcement. The FBI, under the leadership of J. Edgar Hoover, labeled Dillinger as Public Enemy Number 1 and launched a nationwide manhunt. Despite the increasing pressure, the Dillinger Gang continued their crime spree. They robbed banks, evaded capture, and lived a life of luxury with the spoils of their crimes. But as with all things, their reign had to come to an end. Their reign of terror spanned from September 1933 to July 1934. In the span of less than a year, they had become the most notorious gang in America, forever etching their names in the annals of crime history. This notorious gang wasn't short on talent. Here are some of the key members. At the helm was John Dillinger, dubbed Public Enemy Number 1. A charismatic leader with a knack for audacious bank heists, Dillinger was the face of the gang. His daring exploits and narrow escapes from law enforcement made him a figure of public fascination and the focus of nationwide manhunts. Next, we have Lester Joseph Gillis, better known as Babyface Nelson. Despite his boyish appearance, Nelson was a ruthless criminal with a notoriously violent streak. His unpredictable nature and propensity for gunfights made him a valuable, albeit volatile, member of the gang. John Red Hamilton was another key player. Known for his loyalty to Dillinger, Hamilton was a seasoned criminal with a reputation for being both reliable and ruthless. His experience and cool-headedness in high-pressure situations made him an invaluable asset to the gang. Homer Van Meter, a longtime associate of Dillinger, was known for his fearlessness and loyalty. His willingness to take risks and his unwavering commitment to the gang's success were significant contributions to their notorious reputation. And of course, the gang wouldn't have been complete without a roster of others, each with their own unique skills and roles. From skilled getaway drivers to meticulous planners, each member played a crucial part in the gang's audacious crime spree. This diverse mix of personalities, backgrounds, and criminal expertise gave the Dillinger Gang its edge. Their combined skill set allowed them to carry out some of the most audacious bank heists of the era, leaving law enforcement agencies scrambling to keep up. But remember, while their exploits may seem thrilling, they were criminals who left a trail of destruction in their wake. Their actions resulted in loss, devastation, and the ultimate sacrifice for some. The Dillinger Gang serves as a stark reminder of a chaotic time in American history, a time when desperation led some to a life of crime. Each member had their own unique skills and roles, contributing to the gang's notorious legacy in their own distinctive ways. As we delve further into the world of the Dillinger gang, let's not forget the real-world consequences of their actions. What set the Dillinger gang apart were their military-inspired tactics. You see, this wasn't a group of reckless thugs who stormed in without a plan. No, the Dillinger gang was a meticulously organized unit that operated with a level of precision and strategy akin to a military squad. Each member had a specific role to play in the grand scheme of their operations. There was the lookout, ever vigilant, ready to signal the others at the first sign of trouble. The getaway driver, a master behind the wheel, could navigate the labyrinth of city streets with ease, ensuring a swift escape. The lobby man was the actor of the group, blending in with the bank's patrons and staff, all the while subtly directing the operation. And then there was the vault man, the locksmith, who could crack open a bank vault as easily as one might open a jar of pickles. But it wasn't just about the roles they played. The Dillinger gang was also heavily armed. They made use of Thompson's submachine guns, a weapon that was not just powerful, but also symbolic. You see, the Thompson was a weapon associated with the military and law enforcement. By wielding such a weapon, the Dillinger gang was sending a clear message. They were just as formidable as the forces that sought to stop them. And let's not forget about their bulletproof vests. These were not the sleek, lightweight vests you might picture today. In the 1930s, bulletproof vests were bulky, heavy, and uncomfortable. Yet, the Dillinger gang wore them nonetheless, willing to endure the discomfort for the sake of protection. It was another testament to their commitment to their craft. So, while the Dillinger gang may have been criminals, it's undeniable that they brought a level of sophistication and strategy to their operations that was unprecedented for their time. Armed with Thompson's submachine guns and bulletproof vests, they were a force to be reckoned with. The mastermind behind their successful getaways was Herman Lamm. An innovator and strategist, Lamm was a former Prussian army officer turned criminal. His military background was instrumental in shaping the Dillinger gang's tactical approach to bank heists. Lamm's genius lay in his meticulous planning and attention to detail. He devised a technique of casing a bank before a robbery, studying its layout, routines, and escape routes. But his greatest contribution was the development of comprehensive getaway maps, referred to as GITs. These detailed charts included every possible escape route, alternate paths, and potential roadblocks. The gang would memorize these routes, ensuring they had a plan for every eventuality. A practice run would then be conducted without committing the crime, a dry run of sorts, further reducing the chances of error during the actual heist. These maps ensured their escape route was foolproof, making it even harder for law enforcement to catch them. To bolster their arsenal, the gang raided state police arsenals, acquiring machine guns, rifles, revolvers, ammunition, and more bulletproof vests. Through these audacious raids, they amassed an impressive array of firepower that was almost unheard of for a civilian group at the time. It wasn't just about the sheer volume of the weapons, but the quality as well. They had access to military-grade weaponry, making them a formidable adversary for any law enforcement agency. This vast and powerful arsenal provided them with a distinct advantage. They could outgun most law enforcement officers of the era, who were typically armed with standard-issue revolvers. This disparity in firepower often left the police outmatched and ill-prepared for the gang's violent onslaught. Their tactical prowess, combined with their superior weaponry, created a lethal force that left many a lawman dreading the next encounter. They were always one step ahead of the law. One of their most famous heists took place at the Central National Bank and Trust Company in Greencastle, Indiana. On October 23, 1933, the Dillinger gang orchestrated a daring daylight robbery. The spectacle unfolded with a precision that left everyone in awe and fear. The gang, led by Dillinger himself, pulled up to the bank in a stolen car. Unassuming and blending in with the crowd, they entered the bank like any other customer. Dillinger, with his charm and charisma, distracted the bank employees while the rest of the gang positioned themselves strategically around the bank. The alarm was triggered, but it was too late. The gang had already taken control. Like a well-rehearsed play, each member knew their role. The lobby man controlled the crowd, the vault man collected the cash, while the lookout and getaway driver stayed alert for any signs of trouble. The bank employees and customers were held at gunpoint, their lives hanging in the balance as the gang collected their loot. It was a tense situation, but the gang maintained their cool, displaying a level of professionalism that was chilling. Once the money was secured, the gang made their exit. The alarm bell echoed through the streets of Greencastle, but the Dillinger gang was already on their way. They disappeared into the crowd, blending in as if they were just ordinary people going about their day. The local authorities were left scrambling. In their wake, the Dillinger gang left behind a scene of chaos and fear. The bank was in disarray, the employees and customers were in shock, and the authorities were baffled. The Greencastle Heist was a daring display of audacity and ingenuity. It highlighted the ruthless efficiency of the Dillinger gang and their knack for evading law enforcement. They made off with a staggering $74,802, leaving authorities baffled. This heist cemented their place in the annals of America's most notorious criminals. Their crime spree continued as they ventured to Racine, Wisconsin, where they targeted the American Bank and Trust Company. The Dillinger gang, notorious for their audacious bank heists, was about to strike once again. But this particular heist would prove to be far from just another day at the office for this band of criminals. As they had done many times before, the gang arrived at the bank armed to the teeth and ready to take what they believed was rightfully theirs. But this time, they were met with unexpected resistance. The bank had been tipped off about the potential robbery, and the authorities were waiting. Among the officers present was CPD Detective William Shanley, a dedicated officer with a reputation for his unyielding pursuit of justice. Shanley was known for his bravery and tenacity, and he was determined to put a stop to the Dillinger gang's reign of terror. As the gang stormed the bank, the officers sprang into action. A ferocious gun battle ensued, with bullets flying in all directions. It was during this chaotic exchange of gunfire that tragedy struck. Shanley, in his quest to protect and serve, found himself in the line of fire. Despite his best efforts to take cover, he was hit and mortally wounded. The Dillinger gang, seeing their plan unraveling, made a hasty retreat, leaving behind a scene of devastation. Shanley was rushed to the hospital, but his injuries were too severe. The brave detective who had dedicated his life to the pursuit of justice lost his life in the line of duty. This tragic turn of events sent shockwaves through the community and the country at large. A respected officer had fallen, and the Dillinger gang's crime spree had claimed yet another victim. But this time, tragedy struck. CPD Detective William Shanley lost his life in the crossfire. Following Shanley's murder, the Chicago Police Department formed a specialized team known as the Dillinger Squad. The brutal loss of one of their own had been the final straw. The Dillinger gang's audacious crimes and blatant disregard for law enforcement had reached a tipping point. The city was in an uproar, and the police department knew it was time for a decisive response. And so, the Dillinger Squad was born. The squad was not just any team. It was a meticulously selected group of individuals, each with a unique set of skills and a shared purpose. The mission was clear and singular: to put an end to the Dillinger gang's reign of terror. This team of 40 skilled individuals was a formidable force, ready to confront the notorious gang and bring them to justice. Comprised of 40 skilled individuals, they were determined to put an end to Dillinger's reign of terror. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Crime Time Communicator. We've delved into the audacious exploits of the Dillinger gang, from their military-inspired tactics to their thrilling heists that left authorities baffled. Their daring escapades truly carved out a notorious chapter in crime history. Don't miss out on more thrilling tales of infamous criminals. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep exploring the fascinating world of crime with us. Goodbye.